Rochelle Ritchie is a former press secretary for the House Democratic Policy and Communications Committee, and she joins us tonight. Rochelle Ritchie, thanks very much for coming on.
Thanks, Tucker. Thanks for having me.
So the president described the speaker's planned trip to Afghanistan and Brussels in Egypt as a publicity stunt, a PR move. She reacted angrily and said, no, it's not. But if it wasn't, what was the purpose? What is her position on our continued presence in Afghanistan?
Well, I think her mission was quite clear from what came from her staff. They were going to meet with NATO officials in Brussels, and they were going to meet with our men and women in uniform. And look, it seems like this fight between Godzilla and King Kong is just going to go on for quite some time now. But I do think that it is a tit for tat, and I think that this just exposed the president's lack of maturity when it comes to running our government.
Well, but of course it was a tit for tat. I mean, obviously.
Right.
But it does raise, I think, a highly amusing one, but it also raises a couple of real questions, and I think it's worth talking about them. What is the speaker's position on keeping troops in Afghanistan?
Well, I don't know exactly what her mission is as far as keeping troops in Afghanistan. And
Isn't
actually,
that kind of a key question?
I think that's more of her. I think that's more the president's decision, more than the speaker's decision on whether or not our troops are in Afghanistan.
Well, you make a solid point. It is his decision. The Congress really doesn't manage our foreign policy at all these days. So if it's his decision, why is she going to Afghanistan at public expense?
I don't think that it was at the public expense, and I really disagree. I disagree that this was a public relations move. First of all, I've worked in public relations for quite some time, and when you have a PR event, the one thing you don't do is you don't keep it a secret. So this was not a PR stunt.
Okay, but leaving that characterization aside, you just said that she doesn't have a role in deciding whether or not our troops remain in Afghanistan. So why was she going there?
Why can't she go there? Why can't she go there and thank our men and women in uniform?
Okay,
Why can't she?
Okay,
Why can't she go there and meet on the ground with some of our officials?
I'm not proposing that we bar her from doing it, and she's not barred. And I guess she can fly on an Air Force plane after the shutdown. But
the bigger question here, Tucker, the bigger question here, Tucker, is what does this really do for the president? I think that his decision to cancel her trip is very counterproductive.
The bigger question is should we keep troops in Afghanistan? And no one seems interested in that.
Well, is the president interested in that? Because he's more interested in keeping our federal workers from getting paid. That's what he's interested in.
Right. I'm sure that's his goal. Let me ask you, though, why shouldn't, straightforward question once more, why shouldn't she stay in Washington until this crisis is resolved? You just said it's very important that our federal workers get the salary they're due. So why shouldn't she stay here and work on it until that happens?
Well, it seems like conservatives are acting like Nancy Pelosi was going over there for 2 weeks to lay on a beach. That's not what's happening. This is not Puerto Rico.
We already couldn't tell me why she was going there, so we still don't know why she was going. Okay.
One, I don't work for Nancy Pelosi, but I can tell you that the reason why her team said that she was going was to thank our men and women in uniform. That's what I know, and that's what you know.
Oh, right, okay. Okay. But you're not answering my question, which is, if it's so important to end the shutdown, and I think it probably is, then why wouldn't she stay here until she negotiates an end to the shutdown? Why would she leave?
I think that Pelosi as well as Schumer have had 3 opportunities put in front of the president for him to have funding for his wall. You remember in January 2018, they offered him $25 billion. In February of 2018, he was offered $25 billion over 10 to 12 years. They gave him an installment of $2.5 billion, and he still decided to shut down the government. So it's on him. He walked out of the office.
So what you're saying is either he accepts their previous offers or the government remains shut down forever? Is that what I'm confused as to what you're saying?
Well,
they don't have any more negotiating to do? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, there's absolutely more negotiating to do, but the president has made it clear that she was leaving, Tucker, as you know, as you have reported, because she was going to Brussels to meet with our NATO officials, and she was going to Afghanistan to thank our men and women in uniform. I don't know how many times we have to say it and go back and forth.
But in the middle of a government shutdown that you say is hurting people, but she doesn't want to stay and negotiate it because she needs to, quote, thank our troops.
She has absolutely stayed, and she's worked with this president on multiple occasions. He got up from the table and he left the office the last time that they sat down to have a negotiation.
As an adult question, why would she be mad about this? It probably is fair, actually. She should stay. This isn't helping anybody, this shutdown. I mean it. Why not just stay and figure it out? Okay, so now she had this bad idea to go to Afghanistan to thank our troops who are serving in a war that she's not sure whether she supports or not. But why not just stay here and... No, it's not. No, it's totally real.
No, it is real, but it's annoying to me because we're sitting here talking about a woman taking a trip. She's not going now, so we can all really just get over it. What I would really like to know is when this president is going to sit down with the Democrats and reopen the government for the people that are not getting paid. People that I know personally, people that I care about that are not getting their paychecks.
I live here too. So isn't this a good thing? I'm not sure why you're complaining about it. Now he can sit down with Nancy Pelosi because he's prevented her from leaving the country. So why wouldn't you applaud this?
I don't applaud it because he did it as a tit for tat. He's immature. That's why he did it.
But you're happy about the outcome, but you don't like his motives.
No, I definitely don't like his motives at all. I think that his motivations are to build a wall that is pretty much, instead of saying make America great again, he might as well say to Mexico, if you're brown, turn around. That's what the message is.
Okay. I think you may have gotten your talking points confused, but I appreciate
no talking points,
mustering the no talking points. Yeah, you just made that up on the fly. Brilliant. Rochelle, thank you.
I'm that
good to see you
Thank
tonight.
you.
Well, as the federal shutdown